Hey guys, I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective, and we're going to talk about how do we fit an e-collar to a large, thick-coated dog like Kuma here. Again, Kuma is a American Akita. He's a big boy. So we have his e-collar. This is the Dogtra Black Edition. The straps are a one-size-fits-all whenever you buy your collar new, and then you simply trim it down to the size that you would need. I always recommend giving yourself an inch or two extra slack to work with. I've had clients in the past cut it right at the end point that's needed, or the notch for their particular dog, and then it's a struggle trying to put the collar on. They end up buying a new one. So I always recommend giving yourself some extra slack. If your dog is a young pup and they're not fully grown, you can always just wait until they're after a year old, year and a half or so, once they filled out and everything, their neck's filled out, and then trim the collar accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fit and size Kuma here. So when we go to put the collar on, okay, again, top of the neck, pull as snug as possible, and then feed through. Okay, and with the extra strap or slack, what I like to do is, if there was more, I would just come back again and make a little bow here. But for Kuma, since he's a bigger boy, this collar, of course, is almost just the perfect size for him here. So we don't go by the 2-finger rule. A lot of times people go like, oh, you know, I can fit 2 fingers under. We don't do that. We actually go by the box here, okay? So if I go to put my fingers underneath the box, it should be almost close to impossible to do so. Right now, I can only get 1 finger under 1 probe here. Okay, so it's fitted very snug, just like that. And if I were to leave my finger there, I can feel the pressure of the collar wanting to push my finger out because it's a bit snug. This would be like the perfect fit, okay? What we don't want to do is fit the collar like this, where now the collar can rotate, okay? If your collar is rotating like this, it is definitely too loose. We also don't want to fit it like this, where it's hanging off the neck and then also falling at the base of the neck, okay? When fitted correctly, pull up, there we go, nice and snug. When fitted correctly, the collar should be impossible to move. It should be very difficult to get a finger or two underneath the probes, not the box, the probes themselves. We don't really go by that 2-finger rule again under the strap. We go by the fingers under the probes. It should be difficult to get a finger underneath there. And then also, if Kuma rolls around, if he scratches at his neck, whatever he does, this should not move. This should always stay in the same place. If you notice your dog rolling and then scratching at their neck, and you see the box go from here and then shifts down like a quarter of the way or so, you're too loose, okay? It may not look like much, but that it does impact your contact. We want to keep in mind, especially with Kuma here, he's got that big, thick coat, he's got that kind of chunky neck here, is that having this fitted nice and snug ensures that the 2 probes are getting through the fur and making consistent contact. If we fit it too loose, it's going to come off, and then you're going to dial up on your collar trying to make contact, and then he's going to turn his neck, and then all of a sudden you have good contact, and then you're remoting your dog at a very high number, okay? Having it up here, also more sensitive area of the neck, you can get more through less pressure on the e-collar itself. Down here, thicker muscle, more to deal with, tends to lead to higher numbers, okay? So to get the most out of your e-collar through power and pressure, we always position at the top of the neck. And if I'm using like a slip lead, the slip lead will go just above here. If we're using a prong collar, the prong collar can go above the e-collar here, and this just behind it. And this also would help keep the prong collar at the top of the neck. But if your prong collar is fitted correctly, that also should not be sliding down, okay? Any training collar that is fitted correctly should not ever slide down the dog's neck, okay? So I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective. Thank you for watching.